Hello everyone. Today we are going to analyze the price and the cost of asphalt in the batch plant for the purpose to compete in the tender. For purpose, if you are going to sell asphalt to the other contractor, you have to be aware of the cost of asphalt, of the mix of asphalt in before it comes out from the batch plant. Some requirements are needed to study the cost of the mix. In this case, we need exactly a full cooperation from the material engineer of the company. These requirements is as follows. Mix design, either for binder course or weighting course, we need to know the amount of each raw material inside the mix. And this is can be taken or you can get it from the material engineer. Also density of mix, as well as all other raw material. Material engineer has to make the density or measure the density of each raw materials inside the mix. And of course, he has, according to the design mix, he has the total density of the mix. We need to know also supplying price of each material. Coarse aggregate, like crushed stone, and also sand and filler, also bitumen. All the equipment inside the batch plant used or helped to make the mix of asphalt, we need to know this equipment and the horsepower of each motor, including the batch plant itself. Rate of batch plant daily, we need to know daily what is the rate of production of the batch plant. Employees and technician and laborers and their salaries inside the batch plant. Rent of the land area on which the batch plant is based. The batch plant is based on the land owned by somebody else, and it has a monthly rent or annual rent. This land can be owned by the owner of the company. In this case, we are going to assign a probable rent according to the current prices around this land. Let's just go to the Excel sheet and to understand or to analyze how we can load all these costs on the meter cubic of the asphalt mix. Here's the Excel sheet, and before we start, I have to remind you the simple equation: density equal weight over volume. Consequently, volume equal weight over density. In front of you now, two tables of mix design of both binder course and weighting course. This table has to be prepared simply by the material engineer, a way of the communication of the lab should be very simple like that, and including the raw information necessary to calculate the cost according to your demand. Here is the material description, and of course this is a mixed design material: coarse aggregate, fine aggregate, and cement. In this case, cement is bitumen. I think this should be eliminated, as well as here. Type of material, type 1, type 2, the crushed stone or coarse aggregate, fine aggregate sand, crushed sand, filler, and bitumen. This is the density of binder coarse ton per meter cubic, 2.27. In this example, 2.27. Or according to the mechanical design, can be more, can be less than this. The table prepared by the material engineer should include this minimum information about the mix design. Percentage of each material from the density and density of each material. This is percentage of weight, 25% for the crushed stone type 1. This is 25% of the weight of meter cubic of the mix. In this case, equal weight equal 25% multiply the density, and so on for the other raw materials. Now we have a list of direct weight. Here we have a percentage of weight. Now we have here a direct weight for each raw material inside the mix. And of course, the total weight here should be the same of weight of the mix or density of mix. Density is considered to be a weight also, but a weight per meter cubic or per unit volume. We have a density here, and material is imported actually inside by volume, meter cubic. We have here weight. Now we can manage it from this equation. Volume equal weight over density equal, this is weight of crushed stone type 1 over its density. This 132 meter cubic. This list of density is just assumed, or you can say just an example, and it should be measured by the material engineer in the laboratory. Also, the same way, equal weight over density. It means that the crushed stone type 2 in the mix is 0.53 meter cubic, and so on, except for the bitumen, because the bitumen is coming on weight by ton. So we have here a list of volume of material, because we are supplying this material mostly in volume, and this is their unit, meter cubic, for the coarse aggregate, and also for the fine aggregate in meter cubic, except for the bitumen in ton. We need to know the unit price of each one. Consider that the unit price for aggregate type 1 and type 2 is 120 Egyptian pound. It means that volume of aggregate type 1 in the mix, multiply the unit price, it means that it costs 37.8 Egyptian pounds, and so on for the other material. For the bitumen, if the percentage according to the mix design is 4.5%, it means that the weight equal 4.5% multiply the density of the mix, it gives you 0.1 ton or 100 kilogram of bitumen in the mix of 1 meter cubic. If we have here 1 ton supplied to the batch plant 6,500 according to the Egyptian price, it means that 0.1, the amount of asphalt or amount of bitumen inside the mix, equal 0.1 multiply the unit price in ton, it gives you the cost of bitumen in the 1 meter cubic mix. Total is 806 Egyptian pounds. Sigma of this of the cost of raw material gives you 806.2. The same way can be done in wearing course. We have here percentage also of the raw material. We can get the weight of material because we have here a percentage of weight of each material from the total weight of the mix. It can easily calculate the direct weight of each material as we calculate in binder course. And the same way we can calculate the cost of material inside the mix. Is that all costs? Of course not. We have a consumption of diesel. Sorry. This simple equation, you can say it is a gift from me. This is on my own responsibility. This gives you the consumption of diesel per hour. This simple equation is taken from higher authority using this equation, but I make it simple and gives you an accuracy more than 95%. Or otherwise you have to ask the employees inside the batch plant how much you fill the batch plant in diesel, how much you fill the loader, and this is also mistaken because he can't remember, he can calculate, and he can give you a bad information or wrong information on which you are going to calculate a bad calculation. It is easy to know from the catalog of the batch plant how is the horsepower. In this case, if the horsepower of the batch plant is 700, multiply the factor of 0.11, it gives you the liters per hour of consumption of the diesel by batch plant. 77 liter diesel per hour. Cost of diesel 77 liter per hour. Multiply the unit price of diesel in Egypt these days equal 520 approximately per hour. The consumption of diesel per hour is 500 and almost 20 Egyptian pounds. Batch plant capacity. If we consider that the capacity of the batch plant is 100 ton per hour, it can be more, can be less. Okay, we consider we have a little bit or average batch plant gives 100 ton per hour, and this is weight. We need to know the average density of the mix. 2.27 for the finder course, 2.31 for the wearing course. The average is 2.29 ton per meter cubic. This is the average density of all the mix. What for efficiency? If we want to know the volume of mix design produced by our from the batch plant, we have to divide the capacity of batch plant in ton over the density or average density of the mix. It means that the batch plant giving almost 45 meter cubic per hour. So it means that 44 hours almost multiply, this is multiply 8 hours the daily work, it gives you almost 350 meter cubic per day. This is the capacity of the batch plant daily, 349 point something meter cubic per day. If we have the consumption of diesel in pounds over the production of the batch plant daily in meter cubic, it means that the cost is 11.9. The cost of diesel of the batch plant per hour over the production of the batch plant in meter cubic per hour, it means that consumption cost per hour by diesel over the production of batch plant in hour equal 11.9. This is the cost of diesel of batch plant loaded on the meter cubic. The batch plant itself is considered to be an equipment like loader, like dozer. It has a daily rent. This rent can be assigned by the owner himself. Okay? For example, if the daily rent in 8 hours for the batch plant is 10,000 per day, it means that 10,000 the rent of batch plant as equipment over the daily production of the batch plant, it means that 1 meter cubic costs 28 Egyptian pounds point something, equal daily rent of the batch plant as equipment over its daily production equal 28.6 something. This 10,000 is not considered to be too much high. It is like dozer. The 1 hour of dozer costs more than 1,000. Okay, and the batch plant is bigger than dozer, so this assumed number is not exaggerated. The batch plant itself and the total buildings, caravan, and everything is built on the land, and this land has a rent also. Consider that the monthly rent of the land on which the batch plant, total batch plant space is 30,000. 30,000 over 30 days a month, it gives you the amount or value or cost of daily rent of the batch plant. The daily rent of the batch plant over the daily production, it means that the rent is loaded on the meter cubic by 2.86 equal 1,000 daily rent of the land area on which the batch plant is based over the daily production. It costs 2.8 something per meter cubic. We have another equipment. At least we have a loader. At least we have a loader here. This loader is used to move the material to the crane of the batch plant. We are going also to use the simple equation which we have applying here. Diesel consumption of the loader equal horsepower of the loader per factor multiply factor 0.11. It gives you the consumption of diesel for the loader per hour. In this case, we are going to assume that motor horsepower of loader is 200 horsepower multiplied 0.11. It gives you 22 liters per hour. 22 liters per hour multiply 6.7. This is the unit price of diesel in Egypt these days. It gives you 148 something per hour equal 22 liter multiply unit price of diesel 148. Diesel cost per meter cubic. If the consumption of diesel cost per hour is 148 and the production of the batch plant is almost 45 meter cubic, it means that the cost of diesel per hour over production of batch plant per hour 3.4 per meter cubic. The cost of 1 hour diesel for the loader multiplied 8 hours, it means that equal 148 multiplied 8 hours, it means that 1,188 per day. This is the cost of diesel per day for the loader. If the rent of the loader is 3,000 by the fuel, with the fuel we have to subtract the total rent of the loader minus the cost of diesel. It gives you the rent of loader itself without fuel equal 3,000. This is the rent. For example, this is the rent of loader daily minus consumption of diesel cost per day. It means that The rent of loader per day without fuel is 1,800 something. 1,812. This is the rent of loader without fuel over the production, daily production of the batch plant. It gives you 5.1 equal 1 over 300. This is per meter cubic. Somebody can say, Mr. Engineer, I think you are not smart. You can use this 3,000 totally and divide it. This is a daily rent, total daily rent of the loader, and divide it to the daily production of the batch plant, and that this situation is over. My answer is like this. We have a storekeeper or accountant in the batch plant. He needs to separate between the loader as a steel body and its fuel. He wants to know the amount of fuel cost taken by loader. So he had to separate between the loader as a machine and its fuel. Now this is only 3.4. This is only the fuel, the cost of fuel of loader per meter cubic, and this is the cost of loader as equipment without fuel per meter cubic. We have employees or laborers inside the batch plant. We have batch plant operator, we have mechanic, we have electrician, we have accountant, we have 4 labor at least. This is a minimum employees inside the batch plant. This salary is almost the logic salary these days in Egypt for the employees. Batch plant operator 7,000, mechanic 4,000, electrician and accountant and labor. Labor monthly is 2,500 salary multiplied 4, it gives you 10,000. These all salaries, monthly salaries of the employees inside the batch plant. If we divide each salary on 30 days, it gives the salaries of each one of these employee per day. This is equal 7,000 over 30 days and so on for that. The total salary per day, we are going to use sigma here, is 983 daily. Cost employee is 983 over the production of the batch plant daily. It gives you the cost of salary loaded on 1 meter cubic ordnance. Now we can calculate the dry cost, if I didn't forget anything else. I think we cover all the costs. This equal dry cost of asphalt equal cost of material plus cost of diesel for batch plant plus rent of batch plant plus rent of the land on which the batch plant is based plus consumption of diesel by loader. It can be 2 loader, 3 loader according to the circumstances of the batch plant, plus the rent of loader itself without fuel plus cost of labor equal 860.99, and this is a dry cost of asphalt. Inside the batch plant, there is employees, there is food allowance, there is buildings, there is electricity, there is water, maybe internet, or maybe computer, maybe printer. All this is going to be calculated as administrative expense. Then we have administrative expense, and it is decided as 10%. Then 10% equal 10% multiplied the dry cost. The 10% is 86 Egyptian pound. We have a profit. If we are going to compete in the tender, we have to use this number only. This number is the sum of the dry cost plus administrative, and this is a number, cost of asphalt on batch plant, that can be used in cost analysis in the tender. This is my recommendation. If not, we can add profit. This profit can be 25, can be 30, can be 35, according to the owner of the batch plant and the place on which the batch plant is built, and according to the circumstances. This profit is calculated as follows: equal 25% the assumed profit multiply the dry cost. This is the profit for each 1 cubic meter, especially if we are going to sell asphalt. So the total in this case equal dry cost plus administrative plus profit. This is our best price for the binder course itself. The same way in the wearing course, dry cost is calculated like that, equal cost of material of the mix plus cost of diesel of the batch plant plus daily rent of the batch plant itself as equipment plus rent of land plus consumption cost of loader, can be 2 loader, can be 3 loader, can be there is other equipment. It should be involved here in the calculation, plus rent of loader itself without fuel, plus cost of employees equal 891. This is a dry cost of wearing course. 10% administrative, because we have a labor here. Labor or employees are living inside the batch plant. They have a food allowance, they have water to wash, they have a water to drink, there is electricity, and maybe generator is consuming diesel, but this diesel is considered to be as administrative or indirect cost. Also, we have accessories, we have furniture, we have computer, we have printer. All this can be included in the 10% administrative. Okay, and we can assign a profit here, and we can calculate the total best price. If we are going to compete, as I said here, if we're going to compete in the tender, we have to take the dry cost only, and administrative equal plus. This is the total cost of wearing course that can be used to compete in the tender, or according to the the owner, we can use this number, okay, uh, after adding the profit. But in my recommendation, this number can be taken if you are going to sell asphalt. These cost number are going to be taken as a best price for selling asphalt to the other contractors. But if you are going to compete in the tender, I think my recommendation is to use both number. These both number. I think we have covered the issue, and I hope we didn't forget anything. And good luck.